All right, I'm here with the Boxing 5 Promotions promoter Larry Wainstein. We got a tournament announcement coming out 26th of April. Looking forward to this. It's less than a month to go now, and we've got a whole bunch of development, prospect, next generation talents coming out. How do you feel?
And thanks, Joe. It's exciting because this one is a true development tournament where we're putting on 10 bouts. And there's 1 6-rounder and 9 4-rounders.
Sure.
And there's a lot of them are making their debut as pro fighters, which is fantastic for them and for us because it's new talent coming along. And so we look forward to it. It's something different, where it's just definitely a true development tournament.
I just want to clarify for the audience at home, right? Because I think originally your April tournament was scheduled to be quite a big tournament, and then what happened was Phumelela Kafu's big announcement got made, and you've shifted the goalposts. But this is exciting as well because it's just building the next generation.
Yeah, for sure, it is building the next generation. I mean, no doubt management have signed up a few talented fighters, and I think it's quite early to put them to the test, but we've seen them training, and that some of them have been training from December already, so what they're not just coming now to take up camp and then fight. They've had it, they are on joining No Doubt and Boxing 5, and now we're putting on the first tournament for them.
I'm no boxing historian myself, but I mean, I've been hanging out with a lot of the guys, and I don't know if this has been done before, and this will obviously be something that they can maybe clarify. 3 boxing families on a single night of boxing.
Yeah, it is. It's something, it wasn't something that we planned, let's find families. It just so happens that the kids that signed with us are sets of brothers, and then the other fighters is a brother and a sister who we'll be putting onto our tournament. So now you've got the 4 brothers and the 1 brother and sister.
Sure, and it makes for interesting stuff because they all turning pro as well on the same day. It's not just that they're boxing on the same tournament; they're turning together. And let's break down the families. Let's just see what we can do. We got obviously the Kalengi brothers. They also fight with insight, got a good fundamental background. They're making their debuts. So what's your thoughts on them?
They came to us, one of the fighters that they wanted to turn pro, so they came to us in December already, and then when the licensing came out, they were going to spar for their licenses, which they duly did. And I mean, they are both South African champions, so
sure.
As amateurs. So I mean, and they've been showing their skills in the ring with a couple of the boys there, and they're not out of it, and they get stuck in. So that's been quite exciting. I wager that they got an exciting career ahead of them, and Colin thinks so too, obviously. So they've signed with No Doubt management. And then the other amateurs are the ones from Hotbox, which is Sean Ness's boys, and I've seen them fight as amateurs. They're Sim brothers.
Yes.
So they also, 2 brothers they also look exciting prospects. And then we've got 2 fighters that have trained by Riaz there in Boysons, and I know they call his father, they call Shorty. Don't ask me what his name is, but he is an ex-champion himself, and he's got a son which is the minimum weight, and a daughter which is flyweight, I think. So there's a boy and girl which are siblings also on the tournament. So that takes care of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights.
Gee, I mean that's insane that they're all on the same tournament, all Gauteng boxers. We're looking at the brothers to just focus on both brother families. They actually fought in the past as well. The one Kalegi brothers fought the one Hamza, I think it was.
Yeah, Hamza, yeah.
So and now they're teammates. So that's also a lovely story as well.
And that's one of the fights I saw, and they really put up a good show, both of them. It was great, and so interesting. Now they, as you say, teammates.
I see that obviously they all come in as teammates, but I mean, should there be a rivalry between them, or do you think that they're all good now?
No, I think they're all good, because one thing about us, if we've got guys even in the same weight, there's never going to be a chance that we're going to put the 2 boxers that are associated with No Doubt or Boxing 5 in the ring together. we go separate ways, and we will plot their careers separately. But they will be very, very sort of close already at sparring and at training. So, which is quite fundamentally, it makes good for good spirit.
I mean, case in point, we got right at the top. And I think the first time we would have had this discussion was between Siko and Pumelela Kafu.
Yeah.
Both guys, as you mentioned, can be steered in different directions and provide each other world-class sparring.
Yeah, for sure. You find that with the guys. They look to spar together, yet the way forward, they've plotted different directions. There's no doubt. There's enough organizations to not have them fight each other.
All right, and then obviously that's a beautiful story with all the families getting involved. Someone that also was a lot of interest the last time we built him up, the Commonwealth bronze medalist, Simoniki Bonko. It didn't go according to plan for him. He got an unflattering draw, but he gets to make a comeback now after that time.
I don't think his mind was in the right place, and he wasn't focused. So what happened was, at the time when Colin had signed him up, and Colin wasn't happy with his sort of mindset and training, his training routine, and sort of, so then Colin said, no, best you go away and go and decide, and he's come back and he's a different fighter. I mean, you've seen him.
Yeah.
I've seen him at the training, and that he's totally different, and it's exciting to see him.
I agree, and he's training all the time. I think you're right. He just took it a bit lightly the first time around. And do you expect him to win in devastating fashion this time around?
What I see now, I think we see a different boxer, because what happens? Because sometimes when the fighters get blown up, they sort of get too complacent, and they think, I'm pitching to the venue and I'm done. There's no thinking about what you're preparing yourself, getting yourself ready, and getting focused on the fight. And I think that was a problem. But he's a different person. Even his physique looks different. I think he looks like he's lost the weight that he was carrying, and that helps. Yeah,
definitely. Simoniki Bonko, obviously someone to keep your eyes on, and there's a lot of other boxers that you need to keep your eyes on as well. Interesting one, a young trainer, Danny De Oliveira as well, has got another fight. So he introduced Amos Mpanda to Boxing 5, and now he's bringing on another kid called Liam Fox. What's your thoughts on that one?
So Liam had been coming with his other boy when they come sparring. He's been sparring there with us for a while before he got his license and that. And he's showing a bit of ability, and we were very impressed with Danny's boy that fought on our tournament. I liked him.
Yeah.
And he's had 2 fights in 2 years.
Yes, correct.
So now we're bringing this kid in. We're looking to support Danny, and hopefully he's and his fighters going forward under Boxing 5. And we're very, very confident about this kid. He looks a nice sort.
He does indeed. Definitely looking for all the best talent, and Boxing 5's got a whole bunch of talent. Let's put it that way. You've got a lot of people to look after. Also, the main event of the evening, you mentioned there was only one 6-rounder, and that's going to be Bernie Pellman's Siomtanda Wapela. Obviously, he's got another fight coming up. He's coming off a draw as well, so he's going to look to impress in this fight.
Yes, he is. We're looking, obviously, Bernie also, he's one of our people that work with us. And so we asked to put him on, and we now he's going 6 rounds. I mean, in the previous few fights, he's sort of done hell of a well. The last fight he did well, but to a point. So maybe, you don't know. So now we give him another chance. Let's see. And now he's going 6 rounds. So that's the only 6-rounder on the card. So let's see.
I like how you phrase it right in the beginning. This is a pure development tournament, because some of the other development tournaments, there's still sometimes maybe even a title fight or something like that. This is really, really raw development. We're going to really see the next generation here for real on this one.
Well, that's what when we decided to do it, because what we're doing is very, very seldom you might put on 1 or 2 debut fights where the guys just got their license. Now, I think we've got probably about 6 or 7, maybe, guys who haven't fought before that is making their debut. And even some of the opponents are also debut fighters. So
correct.
Now you get that also giving them a chance, And it's early in the year, it's April, and normally licensing gets approved April, but it's at the end of the month, so license is approved, and these guys only fight towards June, July.
Right.
But now they're coming out in April, which will give him a chance to fight other tournaments during the year.
As a promoter, obviously there are guys that are trained by some of the house fighters, you'd call them. But should, where someone that else wins, do you look at them again and you say that's a person that I'd want to bring back on the card just simply based on their performances?
No, we do. We look at it. What we don't do is, again, as I say, Boxing 5 doesn't sign fighters up. No Doubt management signs them up. And the thing is, you can't just sign everybody up, because it becomes, you've got to give them fights and make sure they get fights. So we've got, I would say, the reason why we've got so many new fighters signed up is because all our 4-round fighters that fight on our bill, they've now gone to 6-rounders.
Yeah.
Some of them already going on to 8-rounders, So you don't have that 4-round fighters to put on your bills. So that's why Colin and I sat down and said we need to get guys signed. And I mean, when we sat down the other day, and the problem is it's easy to sign boxers. So we'll sign you up, because Boxing 5 puts on so many tournaments, they'll know they'll get fights. It's just that you can't take on everyone, because then you get sort of stymied, and some boxers get unhappy they're not getting the chances they should be getting. And it's easy to put on 4-rounders when you've got the top echelon of fighters, 7-0, 8-0, coming, those guys that you sort of mapping the way for them, and then you need to have 4-rounders, because otherwise you get stuck with rounds or you get stuck with fights, so that's the reasoning behind it.
I know that Boxing 5 obviously has building a team, but it's also great for South African boxing and in totality, just to have all these new boxers coming through the ranks. It's such an important thing that we're getting and grooming the next generation. I think if you're looking at the rating, a lot of Boxing 5 boxers have been produced. A lot of boxers have been produced through the Boxing 5 ranks as well. Do you look at that and you think we've done a really good job here?
No, I think we look at it and like everything, I think we've got the right strategy and the planning. Whether we get it right every time, we don't know, but we always go back to the drawing board and see and correct where we feel there's a few mistakes or whatever. But we're very quick, if the guys don't perform and we've given them the chances, is to, instead of holding on to them, you release them and say, guys, you're happy, go if you want to go somewhere else with pleasure. So you're not tying them down. Because that's the problem, when you tie them down. And then, that boy of Danny's, two fights in 2 years, and I can understand it. When I say I can understand it, I think Harold Volberg trained him, and the kid was, it's difficult for managers and coaches, if they don't have something like Boxing 5 behind them, to give them fights. And that's where the problem comes in. There's not enough sort of fighters and managers tied up with a promotions company that gives them fights, and so it becomes very difficult. They don't get fights as often as they should.
Yeah, it does. A lot of people are vying for places, and I think Boxing 5, at least here, there's 10 new fighters coming out on here, so they'll get to show their skills. And then, of course, we'll leave the next announcement for a couple of weeks' time, but the man to your left-hand side there, Phumelela, big news on him coming up.
Yeah, there is, as it is. We've got a date set and everything set and the venue set. It's obviously just now putting the opponent in place and putting in the rest of the card, which will be an action-packed card, unbelievable.
Well, this is a lovely surprise. We're getting a tournament before that tournament. I think got announced first, actually, the tournament there. But we're getting a nice tournament in between then. Larry, just wanted to wish you all the best going into this tournament. Anything lastly you want to leave us with?
No, as always, Hayden, thanks to yourself and thanks to the boxers and all our supporters that come to support us. I'd like to say to them, don't come to Boyson's on the 26th and come and pick a star. Come and pick a name that you can follow, and that's how it starts. They get a following, and when people come, we're fortunate, and if I can say thank you to our fans, we're fortunate that a lot of fighters have got followings, but we find that even when we don't put those guys on, people still come to watch our tournaments, and we just say thank you for that.